Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to come together in here and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. All righty. Where we leave off last week?
We are getting into some things, you know. Do you remember, Mel?
Remember where we left off last week?
Did you fall asleep again?
No, I wasn't asleep.
Okay.
No, I don't think Mel fell asleep.
I know Zahar was asleep.
Zahar was out like
Zahar,
a
you
light.
fired. And then you
Out
didn't even
like
pay
a
attention
light.
now.
You know what I mean?
Sorry, our audience is a bunch of children, you know, we gotta.
Sabbath peace.
I remember y'all was talking about like the week before last where it was a dude and he was being chased around a mountain and something about
That was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a little ways ago.
Last week was
That
talking
was-
about the meaning of Christmas being pointless.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that.
I just showed her a little video clip.
No, man, I was there. I said what was the stretch? Was about whenever you bend down and put a gift under the tree.
Yeah, or put a
Yeah,
word
she
in
told me
out
that about
to the
she like that's a stretch there, baby.
A little stretch up.
When you're trying to fix up the tree, you're on your knees
That's
trying
right.
to bend down. I'm like,
Don't put that bulb too low.
Also,
Just worship. Nope.
yeah, the star at the top being like a different god and how like the
What did we talk about other than Jeremiah chapter 10 as it relates to David?
Huh?
1 Samuel. What did we leave off with? You remember he was like trying to sneak up on people?
Mm-hmm.
You don't remember like he crept up on Saul
oh, trying to kill him?
when Saul was asleep?
Yes, in the camp.
Yeah, the whole camp was asleep. He ran up to the top.
Coward move. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then after that, it wasn't a coward move because after that, he told him, he called out. He was like, yo, Abner, you supposed to be protecting the king. How is it that?
He took and then he took
Yeah, he is like, didn't he take his water or something like that? He's like, how, you know what I'm saying? How the man flasking, you know what I'm saying?
Took
and
his
something
cruise
about
of
him
water
being like close enough to death, like he could have killed him.
and
I coulda got you.
And his spear.
And your spear, and he got his
In fact,
spear.
Abishai was like, you could take the spear and pin him to the floor right now.
I'll kill his boy right now. Right?
Joab's little brother.
All his people were doing that. We ain't met Joab.
No, we ain't met Joab.
You know what I'm saying?
Abishai is with the function. But
Yeah.
Joab crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? We looking at Abner, and Abner that's Saul's man. He's supposed to be there to protect him. That's his it's like his cousin or uncle. You know what I'm saying? So he's supposed to be there to like protect him. They all sleep because the Most High God put them in a deep sleep. David went down there, he got their stuff, yelled out to him like, yo, I could have, in other words, he's trying to send a message like, I could have got you. You out here looking for me. You out here been hunting me down. I could have got you just now, but I didn't because I want peace. Y'all remember Saul was like, nah, man, you know what I mean? You good, you righteous, man. I love you, we good, right? But remember, Saul did that a couple times before, right? It reminds you of, if y'all remember when we was talking about Pharaoh.
Yes.
So you remember Pharaoh, here she go. You remember?
No, he kept telling the people they can leave as long as they do this, that, and the third, and they did. And then every time they get a little way, he does a whole nother thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the last one was his son dying. And he was like, "No, bring they buds back. They gotta pay for them."
And then start chasing them, right? But it's the same thing that we see from Saul. I mean, yeah, from Saul. Saul looking like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? No, we good. But then the next time he trying to kill him. All right? because he can't get over it. It's like we talked about. We talked about last week. Another thing we talked a little bit about is spirits, right? We talked about how these spirits affect us, and we kind of interpret sometimes the spirits as being emotions, right? Until we feel some of these emotions. And sometimes our emotions are not us, right? Sometimes these emotions that we feel are not a representative of who we are as people. It's not representative of the decisions that we made up to this point of our lives. Sometimes these emotions are something that's just taken over us, and we do something that we feel ashamed about after we act on the emotions, right? And a lot of times you look at that's spirits. That's us wrestling with flesh and that's us wrestling with principalities and spiritual forces, right? And so that's the thing that we have to kind of bring under control, and we have to kind of look at ourselves. Otherwise, we wind up in the same spot as Saul, where we just doing stuff and saying stuff, and we going back on it. In the book called
James.
Yeah, where is it? 1 or is that 2?
I think.
That's 2. That's the beginning of 2 there.
I think so.
Is it 2? Grab James chapter 2 verse 1. Let's just see what we get. This is James chapter 2 verse 1. I'm not feeling like it's 2 though.
Wait, hold on. You might be right.
I'm feeling like it might be after 2. Go ahead and cheat for the interest of time. Oh, it's 1 actually. It's James chapter 1. Give me verse 8. It's James chapter 1 verse 8. It's important that we understand, because we have an entire, catalog of books that have been put together for us, right? It's 66 books that have been put together for us. And of these books, it gives us wisdom, it gives us instruction, it gives us history. All of these things we're supposed to use for the betterment of our minds and our own spirits in a way that we can kind of execute according to the Most High's plan, right? So it's important that we understand the things that are in the book, and in it start to understand ourselves. A lot of folks talk about wisdom and talking about, being smart and talking about being intelligent and all these things. Well, these things are made easy and made simple in the book. You understand this book and you apply it to your life, you're going to be wise. And you being wise is going to give you an opportunity to be intelligent. And once you're intelligent, the more you learn, not only are you applying it properly, but now you're smart. Right? Let's look at James chapter 1 verse 8. What's the book say?
A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Keep going.
Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted. But the rich in that he is made low, because of the flower of the grass he shall pass away.
Right? That's not what I'm looking for. Give me the give me verse. What verse 6 say?
You want? We'll start at 4.
Verse 4. This is James chapter 1 verse 4.
We'll do 3.
Verse 3.
No, we'll do 2. We gotta do the whole thing.
Can't buy a good helper. Right?
My brethren, count it all joy.
What is this?
Verse 2.
This is James chapter 1 verse 2. Watch what the book say.
My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith works patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing.
Right?
Wanting nothing.
So what he's saying is, don't try to resist going through struggle. Right? We spend our whole life trying to avoid struggle or complaining about struggle. He's saying if the struggle happens, rejoice in that struggle. Don't resist it, rejoice in it. Because in that struggle, if you're obedient, right? If you remain obedient to the Most High God, if you deal with struggle and you looking like, you know what? This is what I want to do, right? I ain't got no money. I can go sell some drugs to go get some money right now, right? I can go take this that I got. I take it up to my man over here. He gonna front me a pack. I take that, I break it down, boom, 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 hand it out. Now I got money. I give some back to him and I'm good. Right? I could do that if I wanted to, because I need some money. Right? But I say to myself, that's against our law. That's against our law. I can't do that. I can't sell drugs. I can't do that to my people. Right? So if I say that's against our law, therefore I'm not going to do it. Right? Then I'm obedient to the Most High God. I faced a temptation. I said, no, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to find a way to do it the right way. A lot of us would complain because it's like, man, it's the third time this year that I've been in this position where I got $0 in my bank account, and we complain about it, right? What James is saying is, no, rejoice in that. Because what's happening there is you're being taught patience, right? Your faith is being worked out and you being taught patience. You starting to learn how to make decisions even though you have temptations pressing up against you. Once you in that situation, you learn how to master it. What we don't understand is we don't understand all of Yah's plan, right? He doesn't lay it out for us. It'll make it easy if he did, right? If he said, look, you know what, Philip, this is what you're going to do. You're going to be born. Around the time you get 8, you're going to go through a little traumatic experience. It's cool. Then when you turn 10, you're going to find, you know what I'm saying, some interests and things that you think make you you. Around the time you turn 16, you're going to realize none of that stuff was you, and you're going to decide who you want to be over here. You're going to get into a lot of mess when you get into 16, and then it's not until you turn about 23 that you're going to start turning around, start looking at stuff right. Then you're going to figure out, oh, the way I was looking at it right wasn't quite right. And then 10 years later, now you're going to start to actually master it. If he laid it out for us like that, we'd be like, oh, okay, because now we got something to look forward to. It's like, okay, I'm only 8. I only got to deal with 2 years before I get to the next milestone, right? It would be different. Everybody would probably obey. Probably be some people that still don't do what they're supposed to do, right? But you know what I'm saying? If he just laid it out for it, but he doesn't do that. He wants you to rely on faith. Just believe me. If you do what I tell you to do, you'll be all right. He documents what we're supposed to do in the book. We're supposed to go through it. So it works patience with us because it requires patience when you don't know what's coming next, right? You have to be patient and wait for an answer or wait for what's happening. We start to lose patience and we move too fast. We react too fast, right? When your little brother bothering you and, you know what I'm saying, you start at first, it's like, yes, Zakai. Yes, Zakai. Then when you lose patience, what you do? No, Zakai, you're not supposed to do this, right? And so you start, your reaction changes because your patience is lost, right? That's how we have to be. James is trying to tell us, he's trying to let us know, listen, rejoice in that because you learn in patience. The reason why the Most High God wants us to learn that patience, because he know what's coming next. The stuff we be going through in a moment don't be nothing. He know what it takes to actually go through some real stuff. So he's saying, Lord, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, you gotta get some patience. Keep going, watch this.
If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that gives to all men liberally and upbraideth not.
Mm-hmm. He said, look, if you ask the Most High God for wisdom, he said he gives that to all men liberally, freely. That's what liberally means. So it's been freely, as much as you want, just here, right? When I started reading the Bible, literally, that is the only thing I used to pray for. Right? I was just like, Most High God, just give me wisdom. Just give me wisdom. Just give me wisdom. Just give me wisdom. And this is one of the Bible verses that led me to do that. Because I looked at my life and I'm looking like I have made some unwise decisions. I mean, some of my decisions were wise, maybe, you know what I'm saying, depending on how you look at it. But I looked at it in totality. I'm like, man, I'm sitting here in this jail because these are completely avoidable things that I've done.
Completely.
Like there's like 1,000,002 opportunities for me to completely avoid where I am right now.
That was funny too.
So it's just like, these are unwise decisions that I make. So I'm just like, man, just give me wisdom. 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 That's all I used to pray for. And part of the reason was because I read in the book and I believed it. He said he'd give it to all men liberally. But if that's the case, you know what I'm saying? Some prayers, whether we admit it or not, some prayer we be asking the Most High God for stuff, we don't even feel like, man, I don't even deserve this stuff I'm asking you for. Some of us, we don't even pray because we be feeling like, man, I don't even deserve to be talking to God, asking him for something right now after the stuff I just did. Right? When I read in the book, he give it to all men liberally. That's how I felt about most of my prayers. Not that one. I was like, oh, well, no, this is the past. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You just said, if I asked you for some wisdom, we could. Ask a man for some wisdom. Ask a man for wisdom and see what he say. Book said he upbraideth not. What does upbraid mean?
Scold.
Yeah.
Kind of get on your case.
You ever got yelled at before?
Yeah.
Who yelled at you?
You? Mom.
When that happened, you're being upbraided. That was the book say.
Clean that room, boy.
You know what I'm saying? We get to yell, why in the world with you? I ain't told your butt. That's being upgraded. So the book is saying, you ask for wisdom, Most High God ain't about to yell at you. He ain't going to punish you for that. You're not going to feel in trouble if you ask for wisdom, is what he's trying to tell you. Keep going. Watch this.
And it shall be given him.
Mm-hmm.
But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering.
He said, let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. What does it mean to be in faith?
In obedience.
A lot of people look at that and they're going to say, ask in faith. You know what they're going to think? He has to really, really believe it's going to happen. Is that what he's saying?
No.
He telling you ask in the faith. In other words, you walk in the faith. Let him ask while being obedient to the tenets that Yahushua gave us, to the instruction that the Messiah gave to us, right? While being obedient to the Messiah, you ask for this. He said it's going to be given. What?
Nothing wavering.
Uh-huh.
For he that waver is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed.
Right? So wavering, what does that mean?
Changing your mind, kind of wishy-washy, up and down.
You wishy-washy. This is why I get on y'all when y'all ask for something. You say you want something to eat. You say you want this to eat. And then come back and be like, okay, I'm not hungry. I don't let y'all do that. Right? Because what happens is you have to be able to make decisions. You have to be able to look at it and understand, oh, I've made this decision. I've committed to this. And now I have to stick with it. Otherwise, you get too used to wavering. You get too used to starting something and just be like, nah, I'm good. You got people relying on you. People thought you was with them. You know what I'm talking about? And all y'all in y'all own lives, as y'all grow, that everybody is going to have somebody relying on them. You don't want to be the person that let people down. Right? So you have to start building yourself up to be a person that's honorable, that stays with their word, and that's committed to the things that they committed to. Then it gives you the mindset to, I'm not going to commit because I know I'm going to commit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know if I say I'm going to do it, I know I'm going to do it. And I know what it do to me to do that. Right? So I'm just going to tell you, I'm not sure. Right? I can't commit to doing that because now it means more. When you wishy-washy, you commit to whatever you want. Be like, no, I'll do that. Don't worry about it. No, I'll do that too. No, I'll do that too. And then you let everybody down. Then people all, behind the scenes, they're looking at you like, I can't rely on this person. Right? I can't rely on this person. That's not what you want. So the same thing when it comes to the Most High God. When we walk to the Most High God and we walk in the faith, you know what I'm saying? You can't just be like in the faith today, but tomorrow out of the faith. Just like the Christians say. You know what the Christians say? What they be saying, Sister Pamela? These Christians will tell you in a second, oh, I repent every day. Right? Can't nobody be without sin. So every day I wake up and I repent and I go about it. Well, that's a double-minded person. Because that means you like, oh, I'm in the faith. Okay, but I sinned today. But then I'm in the faith and I'm sin today. If you double-minded, what James say?
For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
I got that. Right? So that's what Saul represented for us. He represented a double-minded man. That's what the Pharaoh represented for us. He represented a double-minded man because on one hand, Pharaoh is like, let the people go. All right, y'all can go. Then on the other hand, he's like, man, y'all can't go nowhere. On one hand, Saul like, nah, you know what I'm saying? David, I love you, my boy, you know what I'm saying? My son-in-law. On the other hand, it's like, boy, I'm about to put this javelin through your darn neck if you don't move. Right? It's important for us to see it. This is real life. People are like this real life. Maybe they're not throwing javelins and maybe they're not chasing us down, but it's people in our lives right now that are unreliable and unstable in that they walk in the faith on one hand and the other hand, they don't. And it's rampant in our society today. Everybody, right? Generally, everybody has double-mindedness, right? That's what drives us crazy. That's why people are depressed. That's why people have these severe mental illnesses, is because you haven't made any decisions in your head. You're not committed to nothing. Just everything is just happening all at the same time to you. And eventually you got to face reality. And as soon as that reality hits you, it's hard. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. And y'all willing, we got people around us that'll help us start to sort things out. But if you don't, that's tough. It's a lot to deal with. We got to do preventative work. All right. We got to start early before it get bad. We got to start doing preventative work to keep us from getting to them places, keep ourselves level keep ourselves sound, keep our minds intact. Because it's only the mind, man. That's how the devil try to get us. Right? You look at it like if I told you, Zahar, you had to get a message across to everybody in this room, but you could only use words. Right? You could only use written words. All right. So you have to write them down. And I told you, Mel, you got one job. You got to stop anybody from understanding what his words are. But you can't change any of the words that he wrote. Right? You can't change the words that he wrote. And you can only use those words. What would you do, Mel?
Can he say those words? Or is he just like showing everybody on the page?
He can't say them. Everybody else can say them. He can't say the words. Right?
I would take the words.
You'll take the words. What would you do with them?
Hide them or something. Like,
You'll hide them. What if Tasha got to one of them, though?
I would take them.
You'll take them from her, too. Then what if I grabbed it?
I'll take them for you.
And that's exactly what happens. Right? We had his word. It's written. Can't nobody stop the word from getting out. The word is going to get out. But the devil's job is to take it. And the way in which he takes it is he changes the meaning of these words. So now, just like when we say faith, now people say faith just means I believe. And then no, when he's talking about faith, he's talking about walking according to what the Messiah said. So if the meanings are changed, then that means that word is taken from you. Right? And that's the devil's job. The way he's able to take it is by leaving all of us in a confused state where anything might be possible. They got people out here thinking, oh, well, we got a telescope that it can look out and into the universe and it can see 3 billion light years away. It's even just ridiculous. And by looking at it 3 billion, it tells us what happened in the universe 3 billion years ago. Now, what sense does that make?
0 cents.
That makes zero darn sense. When was the last time you can look at something and see what happened yesterday? If they got a telescope and it's gonna look, they look at far out and it tell them what happened 3 billion years ago. I should be able to put on binoculars and see what happened yesterday.
I mean, if my man ain't leaving no tracks in the woods, footprints or something like that, I don't know how you gonna tell that. Oh, somebody.
I don't know what's wrong with these people. They come up with all this stuff. What's to say? Let's just say it is something out there that's indicative, right? Like tracks, right? Let's just say the universe's tracks are out there and they look at it, right? Now, if you got tracks in the woods, right? And let's say something happened yesterday. Somebody ran away from you and you looking for them. Isn't it possible for somebody else to come by and run too? So you looking at these tracks and you looking like, these look like yesterday's tracks. But guess what? That was this morning. Who's to say that's not happening, whatever these people are looking at? They get all these things as theories, right? All this stuff is theories. And it's okay to have theories. It's okay to have theories and be like, you know what I'm saying? Well, 3 billion years ago, where it becomes criminal, where it becomes wrong is when you don't let people know this is a theory. When you don't lead the opportunity to say, maybe I'm wrong. Right? That's what happened with a lot of this COVID stuff. Right? You had this COVID-19 stuff and you got some doctors saying, this is a different way of looking at it. Nope, shut up. Block them off Twitter, block them off, YouTube, block them off Facebook.
Take his license away.
Take their license away, do all these things because this doesn't fit a narrative. I think it's dangerous to say it because of what I believe, right? I believe it's dangerous to say that COVID-19 is not the worst disease ever, right? There's other doctors say, oh, well, it is bad, but if you take this medicine, you'll be okay. Nope. That medicine hasn't been approved yet. We haven't proven that out yet. Well, that's what science is. Science is having a theory. This doctor saying his theory is it would be okay with, let them prove it out. Nope, you can't prove it out. You're playing with people's lives. But what if you're wrong? Aren't you playing with people's lives too? Right? But that's what happens. True science, you should be able to compete with ideas. And you see what's proven out. These people warp view of science that they put out faith. They have faith of all these different things. They have faith that even though you have no evidence for it, the universe was 3 billion years old. You ain't got nothing that's gonna tell you that. It's just faith-based. So now everything that you put together has to fit into that narrative because that's what you believe is necessary for your science. Right? All that stuff comes from being double-minded. None of it makes sense. When stuff makes sense, it agrees in our brain. When it don't, it's double-minded. It don't agree in our brain. You know what I'm saying? And if we don't deal with those disagreements in our brain, if we don't deal with the fact that things are in contradiction in our brain, eventually we become crazy people. And that's our world right now. Let's see. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 29.
Yeah.
It's 1 Samuel chapter 29, verse 1. Let's see what the book say.
So y'all remember Saul went to go see a medium.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Why you look at me like you don't know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Saul went to see a witch, okay?
Okay.
And she called up Samuel from the dead.
Oh.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot all about that part.
Okay.
Y'all was supposed to help me out.
Okay. And then what did Samuel
Sit up.
tell Saul?
So the lady brought him back from the dead, and then he was like, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember.
He said, what you calling me up for? Just like I told you in the past, you and your son's going to be with me, right? And the kingdom is ripped from you.
Mm-hmm.
Because Saul was about to go to war, and God wouldn't speak to him through the priests. He wouldn't speak to him through the prophets. So Saul was like, I need somebody to talk to that knows God at least. So he asked the witch, the medium, to bring up Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
And Samuel told him, you know what I'm saying? You and your son going to be with me, and the kingdom was ripped from you. So now Saul's upset. He wouldn't eat no food because he know he about to die. But he got to go to war to try to protect the people. But he know he about to die. So
Yeah, because I forgot all about that part. Why was he even worried enough to go to the familiar spirit in which he had himself banned? Well, he is worried because the Philistines was about to come against him. The Philistines, remember, wanted David to fight on their side against Saul. All right, so Saul started getting worried that, one, he got to deal with the Philistines, but then you also got David over there. All right, and David's a bad boy. We all know that. All right, so Saul looking like, man, I need somebody on my. We know one thing that Saul know about David is what? Who on his side?
God.
One thing that Saul keeps saying is, man, God is on his side. Right? Because David keep making it out of these situations. It's like, man, there's no way you're supposed to make it out of that. Right? So he know God is on his side. So he looking like, I know one other man who God was on his side. Samuel. But you know what? Samuel dead. So he thinking he looking like, I know I banned all the familiar spirits, but y'all know of any of them? You know what I'm saying? Anybody who deal with familiar spirit? Okay, for sure. Go over there. So remember, he disguised himself. He went over there and he got the lady to try to call up Samuel, although he's dead. And Samuel spoke to him. Right? But his thinking, you have to understand his thinking, right? His thinking was, I know God is with David. David's over there. I already have a hard time dealing with these Philistines without David over there. God is always with David. I need to talk to somebody that's with God so I can figure out what I need to do. Right? He didn't get the message he wanted. The message said was, you gonna die in this war. Right? And now we're gonna play it out.
Now the Philistines gathered together all their armies to Aphek, and the Israelites pitched by a fountain which is Jezreel.
Mm-hmm.
And the lords of the Philistines passed on by hundreds and by thousands, but David and his men passed on in the rearward with Achish.
Mm-hmm.
Then said the princes of the Philistines, what are these Hebrews doing here?
Right? So the Philistine coming together, you got to think of it like sports, right? You got like an all-star team, maybe, right? So the all-star games will be coming up in a couple months, right? In basketball. And in basketball, what will happen is you'll take one player, maybe from each team, but the whole league comes together in this one place, right? And whatever city it is, even if they're not playing, a lot of the people that's in the league are going to come to celebrate and to be together and all this stuff, right? Then you got the star players from different teams kind of coming together, like the captains or the leaders of those teams, right? So that's how the Philistines were. Philistines got broken up. They broken into different teams, right? They all are one. They all, think of it, you got the NBA, then you got different teams in the NBA, right? Well, the Philistines, they one league, right? But they got different teams, right? But they all on the same side for the most part. If anybody outside of the NBA try to get with them, right? So anybody outside of the Philistines, they all on one side. They all love each other and play with each other. They all friends, right? So they walking around and they see David and they looking at David like, these boys is Hebrews. They not Philistines. They not a part of our league. So they looking at it like, what are these Hebrews doing here? Right? That don't make sense. Let's see. Keep going.
And Achish said unto the princes of the Philistines, is not this David, the servant of Saul, the king of Israel, which has been with me these days or these years? And I have found no fault in him since he fell unto me unto this day. And the princes of the Philistines were angry with him. And the princes of the Philistines said unto him, make this fellow return, that he may go again to his place, which you have appointed him. And let him not go down with us to battle, lest in the battle he be an adversary to us.
All right. So the one Philistine, what was his name? What was it? The king?
I forget his name.
All right. Well, the king that David was dealing with, his whole scheme was,
Achish.
I'm not going to kill David because I know David is beefing with Saul. And if they beefing, maybe I can use David to fight my battles for him. So that's the only reason David ain't have to scrap with the king. Right? Then he bring them around the other kings, and the other kings, they a little more wise. They looking at this situation like, boy, are you out of your darn mind? We mess around. Okay, you think he fighting on your side. Okay, what happened when we get down there, he see his cousin? What happened when he get down there, he starts having sympathy for his people? We killing him. You know what I'm saying? And he looking at himself, killing his own people, looking at us killing them. They mama's crying out. He looking at, he's like, you think this man just gonna continue to kill with us? They like, no. Let him go back. He gonna mess around, be our adversary. He gonna be an enemy to us when we get there. He gonna walk there as our friend, and we gonna leave there with him kicking our butts as an enemy. He's like, it's cool. Send him back though. This is not the battle for him. Let him fight other battles for us, right? But not this one. He gonna mess around and turn, right? They had a little more wisdom when it came to what they were trying to do. Let's see. Keep going.
For wherewith should he reconcile himself unto his master? Should it not be with the heads of these men? Is not this David, of whom they sang to one another and danced, saying, Saul slew his thousands and David his 10,000s? Then Achish called David and said unto him, surely as Yahuwah lives, you have been upright, and you're going out and you're coming in with me, and the host is good in my sight. For I have not found evil in you since the day of your coming unto me unto this day. Nevertheless, the Lord's favor you not. Wherefore now return and go in peace, that you displease not the lords of the Philistines. And David said unto Achish, but what have I done? And what have you found in my servant, so as long as I have been with you unto this day, that I may not go fight against the enemies of my lord the king? And Achish answered and said to David, I know that you are good in my sight, as an angel of God. Notwithstanding, the princes of the Philistines have said, he shall not go up with us to battle.
Yeah, he's like, look, I ain't got no problem with you. But them boys, they already said it. That thing done. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no use of us even going back and forth about it. You know what I'm saying? Rulers already spoke. Right? So let's see what David did.
Wherefore now rise up early in the morning with your master's servants that are come with you. And as soon as you be up early in the morning and have light, depart. And David and his men rose up early and departed in the morning to return into the land of the Philistines. And the Philistines went up to Jezreel. Yeah, you think David finna let them kill Saul? Like, that's crazy.
He ain't having it. Well, he might let him kill Saul, but he ain't about to let him kill the rest of them. You know what I'm saying?
And it came to pass when David and his men were come to Ziklag on the third day, that the Amalekites had invaded the south, and Ziklag invaded the south and Ziklag, and smitten Ziklag and burnt it with fire. And had taken the
Y'all
women.
remember the Amalekites, right? Who are the Amalekites? What'd they do to us? Remember, the Amalekites is the ones when we was in the wilderness. All right, they came and they attacked us from behind. And traditionally, we learned it from our father Jacob that we would keep our most prized possessions, and the most feeble of us would be behind. Right? The young, the children, the people who, you know what I'm saying, had disabilities, all that stuff, they'd be behind us. Right? They'd be all the way in the back because we would try to protect them from the front. But the Amalekites came from behind us and they attacked us. You know what I'm saying? We didn't like that. And the Most High God said, don't you ever forget it. So that's one of the things that Samuel came to Saul and said, you know what? Go kill, sit up, Zahar. Go kill all the Amalekites. All right? He told him, go kill all the Amalekites. And then Saul went to go do it, and he killed that whole tribe of Amalekites. But he left the animals and he left the king. And that's one of the things that Samuel said to Saul. He like, this is why the kingdom is being ripped from you, because you don't obey what the Most High God be saying. He didn't tell you to spare nobody. He didn't tell you to keep nobody and hold them. He didn't tell you to imprison nobody. He said, kill them all and kill all and don't take the spoils. But the people took it anyway, right? The animals and spoils, at least. You know what I'm saying? They took it anyway. So these are the same Amalekites. So this would be a separate tribe of the Amalekites that we have to deal with now. And they attacking kind of somewhere in our area, right? Where David is, at least. You know what I'm saying? They attacking in a closer area where David is. So watch this.
And they had taken the women captive that were there. They slew not any, either great or small, but carried them away and went on their way.
All right, so they attacked, killed a bunch of the men, took the women, you know what I'm saying, carried them. Watch this.
So David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burnt with fire, and their wives and their sons and their daughters were taken captive. Mm-hmm. And David and the people that were with him lifted up their voice and wept until they had no more power to weep. Mm-hmm. And David's 2 wives were taken captive, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite. Mm-hmm. And David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him, because the soul of all the people was grieved, every man for his sons and his daughters. But David encouraged himself in the Lord his God.
So why would that happen? Why would the people feel that way about David? Zahar, stand up.
Because it's like, man, we was out there following you, left the whole city unprotected, running around with you.
And he left the city unprotected for what?
To go with the Philistines.
So he over there with the Philistines. You know what I'm talking about? These the enemies of our people. We got a law that tell us we ain't got no business dealing with these people. Right? So these the Philistines that we dealing with. Then we see David, and we trust David because we know that's God's man. Right? But he goes with the Philistines in an attempt to go fight against our people. And while that happens, the Amalekites, being the Amalekites, sneak up on us and kill us, just like they've done in the past. Right? Amalekites looking for some get back. Right? Oh, y'all killed old boy, King, I think his name was King, the
one that Samuel killed.
Yeah, what was his?
I forget his name.
This is King.
Agag, was it?
Yeah, Agag. I put it. Was it Agag?
I don't know.
I think it might have been Agag, right? But you know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, you killed the king. You know what I'm saying? So they getting some get back on us. They kill a bunch of the boys or the men, you know what I'm saying? Take the kids and the women, they take them captive, right? David gets back, he crying like, what? His 2 wives is amongst the ones that was captive. It's bad. It look bad. The people looking at him like, nah, we about to stone you. You know what I'm saying? You let my wife get killed, you let my kids get taken, we about to get your butt. You know what I'm saying? We followed you, you mess around with these Philistines. I don't know what you got us out here doing. People starting to doubt the man. Let's see what happened.
And David said to Abiathar the priest, Ahimelech's son, I pray thee, bring me here the ephod. And Abiathar brought there the ephod to David. And David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I pursue after this troop? Shall I overtake them? And he answered him, pursue, for you shall surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. So David went, he and the 600 men that were with him, and came to the brook Besor, where those that were left behind stayed. But David pursued, he and 400 men, for 200 abode behind, which were so faint that they could not go over to the brook Besor. And they found an Egyptian in the field, and brought him to David, and gave him bread, and he did eat. And they made him drink water. And they gave him a piece of a cake of figs, and 2 clusters of raisins. And when he had eaten, his spirit came again to him, for he had eaten no bread, nor drank any water 3 days and 3 nights. And David said unto him, to whom do you belong? And where are you coming from? And he said, I am a young man of Egypt, servant to an Amalekite, and my master left me because 3 days agone I fell sick. We made an invasion upon the south of the Kerethites, and upon the coast which belongs to Judah, and upon the south to Caleb. and we burnt Ziklag with fire.
Right? So he just happened, he out there, he hungry. You know what I'm saying? He doing bad. He happened to find this Egyptian out there. Egyptian was like, man, you all right here, man. Take some of the stuff I got. He's like, oh, man, good looking. He's like, man, where you from, man? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The Egyptian's like, oh, no, I'm from Egypt. But, you know what I'm saying? The reason why I'm out here, my whole crew left me. I got sick. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, I got sick. And they just left your boy. We had just got done running through these, you know what I'm saying? You got to imagine him talking about it. We just got done. We hit a lick, bro. Let me tell you something. We just got done. We hit the people of Judah be? Man, we lit they butt up, took all of them. You know what I'm saying? But then we on our way back, I get sick. And they just leave me out here. So it's like, well, I'm happy I met you though, man. You a good dude. You know what I'm saying? He's just talking to him about ransacking his town. Right? So David, you gotta look at David. David probably looking like, boy, I will knock your head off right now. But David got to be smart. Watch this.
And David said to him, can you bring me down to this company?
Yeah, like
and he said,
he's like, oh. So David looking at him like, oh, that's what happened. Can you take me, you know what I'm saying? Can you take me where you from? Can you introduce me to some of these people? Because now David like, oh, I'm about to get all of them, right? I could just get him. He right here. That's easy money. He crushed. I could just get him, right? David can take him. I got a little food in me now. I got him. But I want the whole shebang, and I need to find where my wives are, right? Let's see.
And he said, swear to me by God that you will neither kill me nor deliver me into the hands of my master, and I will bring you down to this company. And when he had brought him down, behold, they were spread abroad upon all the earth, eating and drinking and dancing because of all of the great spoil that they had taken out of the land of the Philistines and out of the land of Judah. And David smote them from the twilight even unto the evening the next day. And there escaped not a man of them, except 400 young men which rode upon camels and fled. And David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away, and David rescued his 2 wives. And there was nothing lacking to them, neither small nor great, neither sons nor daughters, neither spoiled nor anything that they had taken to them. David recovered all.
All right. So from evening to evening, David killed them boys. It took him 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? That boy, he got into it. He killed all them boys and recovered everything. You know what I'm saying? He said they didn't lose nothing. Right? The only thing the Egyptian asked was like, listen, I'm going to take you to these boys. But just don't tell on me, right? The Egyptian was like, listen, I'm going to take you, but don't turn me over to him and don't kill me just like you're about to kill them. And he did it, you know what I'm saying? And we, you know what I'm saying? I think the Egyptian stayed with him, right? Let's see.
And David recovered all. And David took all the flocks and the herds which they drave before those other cattle and said, this is David's spoil. And David came to the 200 men which were so faint that they could not follow David, whom they had made also to abide at the brook Besor. And they went forth to meet David and to meet the people that were with him. And when David came near to the people, he saluted them. Then answered all the wicked men and men of Belial of those that went with David and said, because they didn't go with us, we will not give them aught of the spoil that we have recovered, except to every man his wife and his children, that they may lead them away and depart. And David said, you shall not do so, my brothers, with that which the Lord has given us, who has preserved us and delivered the company that came against us into our hand. For who will hearken unto you in this matter? But as his heart is that goes down to the battle, so shall part be with the ones that waits by the stuff. They shall take part alike.
All right. So he's saying, you know what I'm saying? Some of the people that was with David, they're like, man, well, no, we came out here and we fought and we've been fighting all day. Them other boys, they stayed back. You know what I'm saying? They was tired, you know what I'm saying, all that, and they ended up watching the stuff. You know, it's time to go somewhere. Be like, you know what I'm saying, the ones that don't really want to go, be like, no, I'll keep an eye over here. You know what I'm saying? Make sure nobody, you know what I'm saying? That's what they did. They're looking like, nah, we gonna stay back, just keep an eye. You know what I'm saying? But you got to think about it from their point of view. We had just left and our place got ransacked, right? So not only is we tired and we faint, but also maybe we shouldn't keep leaving so much, you know what I'm saying, like unattended. So now David is looking like, okay, hold on. We not doing that, right? We not saying that only the people that went to war gonna eat. The people who stayed gonna get an equal part to the ones who went to war, right? He called them men of Belial that did it, men of worthlessness. Let's see, keep going.
And when David came to Ziklag, he sent of the spoil unto the elders of Judah, even to his friends, saying, behold, a present for you of the spoil of the enemies of Yahuwah, to them which were in Bethel, and to them which were in the south Ramoth, in South Ramoth, and to them that were in Jatir, and to them which were in Aroer, and to them which were in Sifmoth, and to them which were in Eshtemoa, and to them which were in Rekal, and to them that were in the cities of the Jeremielites, and to them that were in the cities of the Kenites, and to them that were in Hormah, to them that were in Korashan, and to them that were in Atak, and to them that were in Hebron, and to all the places where David himself and his men were wont to hunt.
All right. So he starts sending out all these gifts to all these people, a lot of them in Judah. Right. So he's saying, listen, this the spoil I got. People just start getting feared. Send to this city, send to this city, send to this city, where people start getting gifts. It's important to understand how this is playing out. Right. You have David, you have Saul, you have part of the kingdom that messes with Saul. And then you got a small group of people that David has been taking and like, yo, David hiding out in the woods. Let me join his rebellion. Right. So these people have been coming out to see David as a leader, even though they know he's up against Saul. And now David is sending gifts to all these people. So we know David eventually becomes king, but you got to look at this almost like politicians. You got a current president and you got another guy running to become president. And what do they start doing? They start going out, meeting people, shaking hands, you know what I'm saying? Trying to give people gifts, trying to give people incentives and all this stuff. That's what happened. This is naturally happening with David just because of the type of person he is. This is the type of stuff that these wicked people try to replicate to make it seem like they are righteous as David is. Right? David is just doing what's in his heart. These other people do what's in somebody else's mind. You know what I'm saying? Based off of some political advice they get. Right? But the effect is still the same. You start to endear people to you. Right? The people look at you and they be looking like, we can trust this guy. Right? So that's what's starting to happen here. Let's keep going.
Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard upon Saul and upon his sons. And the Philistines slew Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchishua, Saul's sons.
All right. So all three of Saul's sons there, they got chopped by the Philistines. Philistines killed them. Right? Watch this.
You remember Jonathan was David's best friend.
That was one of Saul's sons named Jonathan. He got killed also, but that's also David's best friend. That's the one where he shot the arrow and he'll tell him, yo, if X, Y, and Z happened, man, just gone. Right? He is the one trying to keep David safe to try to find out whether or not his dad was really going to kill him. You can go ahead and sit down now. Don't fall asleep. You just said, yeah, let's stand back up, huh?
And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was sore wounded of the archers.
Right? So think of this big old battle. You got the Philistines, you got the Hebrews. We going back and forth. In this battle, Saul's three sons already get killed. They captured him. They get him. They kill him. No mercy on him, right? Now Saul is left. Saul may not even know. I can't remember, but Saul may not even know that his sons got killed yet, right? He then gets hit with an arrow, right? So they shoot an arrow. Just say, you know what I'm saying, he get hit. Do it say where he got hit?
No, I don't say.
Let's say he, you know what I'm saying, let's say he got hit somewhere where, you know what I'm saying, somewhere in the sternum, right? Somewhere up in here. You know what I'm saying? So he get hit with the arrow. That changes things. That changes things immediately. Now you sitting there, you know what I'm saying? You trying to ride around. You trying to figure it out. You got your weapon. You got people trying to get you. So now you might be trying to run away a little bit. You know what I'm saying? To kind of gather yourself because you got an arrow hanging out your body, right? Let's see.
Then said Saul unto his armor bearer, draw your sword and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and thrust me through and abuse me.
Right? So he's looking like, all right, look, you got to kill me because I don't want none of these people to torture me. Right? He already know how this game play out. If they get their hands on me, they going to torture me. They going to abuse me. They going to be all types of nasty and messed up stuff to me. He's like, no. You just kill me. They've been after me for a while. You know what I'm saying? So then let's see what the armor bearer says.
But his armor bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. Therefore Saul took a sword and fell upon it.
Right? So his armor bearer wouldn't do it because the armor bearer know that don't look good. Right? If it come out that the armor bearer killed the king, not everybody gonna be all right with that, even with the circumstances. Right? Even if they said, but Saul said, kill him. You idiot, you ain't supposed to kill him. You supposed to help him out. You probably could have saved him. You know what I'm saying? People wasn't there. So they gonna have their disagreements about how that, because they love their king. Right? So the armor bearer looking like, nah, that's not the best idea. I can't do that, Saul. I love you, Saul. I can't do that for you. You know what I'm saying? So Saul was like, man, I ain't got time for this stuff. So Saul kind of set up a sword. You know what I'm saying? Kind of imagine like putting the sword, the handle of the sword. You know, you got the sword, you got the handle. Putting that handle on the ground. And then the sharp part poking out of the ground. So you put it on the ground and then you just lean on it to where you stab yourself. Right? So the book said he fell on the sword. You know what I'm saying? So just kind of picture him kind of leaning on it to where the sword start to stab him, right? So he can kill himself, right? Let's see.
And therefore Saul took a sword and fell upon it. And when his armor bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise upon the sword and died with him.
All right? So after that, the armor bearer did the same thing and killed himself, right? But watch this.
So Saul died, and his 3 sons and his armor bearer and all his men that same day together. And when the men of Israel when the men of Israel that were on the other side of the valley, and they that were on the other side of Jordan saw that the men of Israel fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they forsook the cities and fled, and the Philistines came and dwelt in them. And it came to pass on the morrow, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. And they cut off his head and stripped off his armor and sent him into the land of the Philistines round about to publish it in the house of their idols and among the people.
Right? So they cut off the head, right? Took off all his armor, and they sent somebody around with his head to let everybody know, like, yo, Saul dead. So they showing his head around town. You know what I'm saying? Where all their temples are, all their idols, they showing his head just so everybody know. So think of it like church. Like, you know what I'm saying? Every Sunday morning, these people going to church, and then somebody pop up like, yo, everybody here, we killed Saul. You know what I'm saying? Here's proof we killed Saul, because there ain't no internet, right? It ain't like it's a newspaper service or anything like that. You got to get this word out, because that's something that the people will be happy about, right? Y'all might be too young, but it was a guy who they say ran some planes into the buildings called 9/11. You know what I'm saying? The World Trade. And who did they say did that? Who was responsible for that? Y'all know? It's a man named Osama bin Laden. You ever heard that name? Yeah. Osama bin Laden is the one that they said did that. You know what I'm saying? Or was responsible for it. You know what I'm saying? He orchestrated it. Right? So when they say that they found Osama bin Laden, it went out everywhere. Osama bin Laden dead, this, that, another, da, 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 da. They start showing pictures of him. You know what I'm saying? Osama bin Laden, this, that, another. You know what I'm saying? They start having people testify to how it went. Oh, we went in there and we shot him and this, that, another. You have to do that because you want to publicize it, because this is somebody that your people been wanting you to get for a long time. So we might look at it crazy like, I can't believe while somebody is worshiping, bringing a head and showing it to them. That would be disgusting for a good Christian. Well, no, it was good Christians in this country that celebrated in church that Osama bin Laden was killed by our military, because this is the person in their mind that was responsible for killing thousands of people. So for them, justice has been served. You have to think about it the same way. For the Philistines, it's not necessarily that they are doing something gruesome. It was justice being served. You know how many people that the Hebrews was responsible for killing of the Philistines? Philistines looking like, we have to get this guy. Oh, we finally got him. So now for the kings of the Philistines, they'll look at it like, okay, y'all some good kings now. The kings get more respect from the people. So that's what that's about. I cut off his head. It's gruesome for us because we live in different times. Right now, we just expect to get just a newspaper article with a picture from when Osama bin Laden was maybe 30, you know what I'm saying? And be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? He dead. That's all I need to know. CNN said it. Back then, we didn't have that type of communication. So you gotta have to prove it. Like, you know what I'm saying? No, this is the real deal. You know what I'm saying? Blood dripping from the thing and everything. It stink. You know what I'm saying? That boy just carrying it around. People probably want to smell this thing. Let me make sure it's real. Oh, no, that's real. That's the boy. That's the boy. That's him. You know what I'm saying? And they show his face and they do it. You know what I'm saying? Be like, that's Saul. Why'd they have to pull off the armor?
Good boy, you know what I'm saying? You'll take his stuff. This thing's like a trophy.
It's evidence.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people don't know what Saul looked like. They ain't never seen Saul. Ain't no pictures of Saul. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no pictures. We ain't got no Facebook or nothing like that. I've never seen Saul. So now I got to have additional evidence. I pull off the armor to let you know this is the armor that kings wear over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the armor. This is him. Right? So it's just more evidence because you got to kind of prove to the people like, nah, man, we killed him. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
And they put his armor in the house of Ashtaroth, and they fastened his body to the wall of Beth-shan. And when the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead heard of that which the Philistines had done to Saul, all the valiant men arose and went all night and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons from the wall of Beth-shan and came to Jabesh and burnt them there. Mm-hmm. And they took their bones and buried them under the tree of Jabesh and fasted 7 days.
Mm-hmm. So you see, this was big for the Philistines. This wasn't no small deal, right? They took them, cut their heads off, put them around town, let everybody know. Then after that, they took their bodies and hung them up against a wall, right? Then after they took their bodies, they had their own little, you know what I'm saying, little rituals that they did that included fasting. Then after that was done, they took them and then they burned them. Then after that was done, they took their bones, right? So it was a big deal for them. It was like a whole orchestrated ordeal for them to kind of figure out and celebrate or memorialize that they got their enemy.
It was the men of Jabesh Gilead. It was like they went and got his body back.
Huh?
The men of Jabesh Gilead got his body back. So like the Philistines was doing all of this defamation, and they went through and grabbed them things and brought them back.
Oh, who burned them then?
The men of Jabesh, and they buried them because they was desecrating Saul. They was like, we don't have.
Oh, read it again for me then.
And when the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead heard of that which the Philistines had done to Saul, all the valiant men arose and went all night and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons from the wall of Beth-shan and came to Jabesh and burnt them there.
Yeah.
So
they burnt them to keep him from being violated.
Right. And then David, like later on, David was like, yo, y'all some real ones for that. Like, I appreciate you. But they went to go get his bodies back. So they fought in enemy territory to bring that stuff back. So
then if you think about that and then think back to what Saul was saying, right? What did Saul say before he killed himself?
They're going to abuse him.
They going to abuse me, right? He knew what was about to happen. Saul was looking at it like, man, look, just keep him from abusing me. Go ahead and kill me. Yeah. So even though they couldn't get to him, they still was like, chop off his head and let's still abuse this boy. Let's do whatever we can, even though we couldn't get to him alive. Let's still get him.
Yeah, they hung his body and all that stuff, got it on display. Yeah, that was like the men of Jabesh like, no, we ain't having that.
So the men of Jabesh went in there and they burned his body to save him. Yeah. Right? They're looking like, we know that if we keep his skin and we keep his flesh and all this stuff, these people just gonna come away and find it. They don't care, you know what I'm saying? They don't care nothing about the man being dead. They still want to, you know what I'm saying, make a mockery of it. So they saved him then. They was looking like, all right, well, let's just, you know what I'm saying, let's just burn him up. So they wasn't trying to be gruesome when they did it. They were doing it out of, you know what I'm saying, out of empathy. Mm-hmm. Let's see, keep going. What else happened?
That was the end of the chapter. We in 2 Samuel now.
It's 2 Samuel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we can stop here then. We'll start 2 Samuel next week. All right, so you look and you can kind of see things forming, right? Some of the things that we're going to start to see happen is the people are going to start seeing David as the king. King is gone now. Saul is our first king. He's out of there. He's dead now. Our people naturally are looking for a king. David kind of think of him as being on a campaign, right? Not like the fake campaigns that we see today, but it's an authentic campaign where he's helping out people. The people that he's helping out happen to be in the southern part of Israel, where Judah is. Mm-hmm. Right? That's just where he is.
That's where he's from.
Right? That's where all his people is. So guess what? When we get these boys back and we got all this spoil, I'm going to send it to all my people. The people I've been dealing with, the ones that's been coming to see me, the one, you know what I'm saying? These are the people I've been dealing with. I haven't really messed with Saul too much. Saul a little more up north.
And we start to see the seeds of the north and the south divided a little bit.
That's right.
So that's why when Solomon's son came on the scene, it wasn't that hard to have that happen because it's all those seeds have already been sown. These
things are already happening, right? It's already happening, right? So that's what we're going to start looking into in the next few chapters that we read. I think the next few chapters that we read, we're going to start seeing, well, Saul's kingdom naturally goes to Saul's family or should go to Saul's family. That's how our people are going to look at it. Like you got a king, then it should go to your family members. You know what I'm saying? Your closest of kin, right? Somebody else should be king under your family. But there's going to be other people that kind of disagree with that. So we're going to see the kingdom split very briefly here, but the kingdom is going to split.